Good evening and welcome to another Mothman podcast. This is again one of our August podcasts of 2019. And tonight we're going across the pond and we're going to visit with a friend of ours called Ray. Ray works in a radio workshop there in England. And this is one of his tales.
In the very early days of AM CB radio, when it was illegal in the UK, a few of us, only a handful of us, had AM rigs, which was great fun. But it's not so much the CB radio that's the point of this video. We're back to ghostly things again. I don't like telling these ghost stories because, as someone said, you get ridiculed and laughed at. I'd hardly go down the pub, for example, and say to the lads, "Oh, guess what? Just been on the CB radio talking to a ghost." Yeah, right, okay. Fine, you need help, you better go and see someone. But this, well, you come to your own conclusion with this one. It was decades ago when I was misspent youth, illegal AM CB rig in my car. As I say, there were probably only 6, 8, maybe 10 of us locally that were actually on AM. This was even the early days of illegal AM CB. I mean, that did take off to quite an extent. And then, of course, legal FM came in, which basically wiped out AM. Anyway, right, where do I begin? There's a car park up the downs back of my town. Drive up the track. There's a car park up there, which was great. You could see over the town. You could see over to the sea as well and everything. Good spot for CB. People further afield, like in Brighton that way or wherever this way, you stood a good chance of having a chat with them. I went up there one night. It was also a kind of lovers lane thing where couples used to go up there in their cars. I don't know what they were doing. They weren't on the CB, I know that. I went up there one night and I was just flicking around the channels. It was dark. I don't know what time it was. It was summer. Anyway, it was dark. Must have been 10 o'clock. Just flicking around on the channels. Nothing going on. So I was a bit disappointed. I thought, that's a shame. I'd come up there especially. I gave a call out. Anyone around, anyone about. And this female came back and she said, "I'm here." So I thought, oh, this is good, there's someone there. So I said hi, and I said, I'm up the downs. I didn't say exactly where, because you didn't give away your location or your proper, your true name or anything. I don't know, I probably said, "I'm John" or something. "This is John, I'm parked up the downs, where are you?" And she said, "I'm here." So I said, yeah, I thought she'd probably new to CB or something and didn't know how to do it. And I said, "Okay, yeah, that's fine." I said, "You're not very good signal." It was a bit scratchy, a bit weak and fading in and out, crackly, I said, "But I can hear you." So I said, "Whereabouts are you?" And she said, "I'm here." So I said, "Yeah, but I know you're on the radio, but where exactly, are you, in which town are you in?" And she just said, "Here." So I thought, oh, this is, this is a waste of time. I just said, "Oh, okay, well, nice to meet you, perhaps we'll bump into each other again on the radio." And I sort of left it at that and flicked around the channels. And I don't know what channel I was on, but I thought I'd heard someone. So I called and she said, "I'm here." So I thought, this is weird. She's on this channel now. Crazy. Anyway, I just thought, oh, I'll ignore her. Perhaps she was talking to someone else. So I went to sort of flick around the channels again, thought I heard someone else, and I called on that, and she said, "I'm here." So I thought this was a bit odd. Wherever I went, whichever channel I was on, she was there. So I answered. I said, "Oh, hello again, it's me." And she said, "Are you there?" I said, "Yes, I'm here." It was all a bit confusing. So what I did was I just, again, I thought I'd give up, flicked around, and she said, "Are you there?" And it's whichever channel I was on, she was there. Whichever channel I was on, she could hear me. So I don't know, I thought there was something wrong with my radio initially. So nothing else happened really, nothing much happened at all. I just went home and I took the radio into my workshop and a signal generator, and I just checked on each channel that the signal generator wasn't whichever channel that was on, if you like. It wasn't all over the place. The radio was fine. It worked perfectly. I also plugged it into my aerial, my aerial at home, and I had a chat to a couple of people on there. I didn't say I'd been up the Downs. I just had a chat and I said, is the radio working all right? Can we change channel? And it was fine. Next time I went up there, about the same sort of time, it was dark. I was hoping to have a chat with some people, see how far I could get, basically, because that was always the interesting thing in those days. And the same thing happened. Are you there? There's this voice, are you there? And I thought, here we go again. I said, hello, yes, it's John again, or whatever name I used. It's Fred, it's George. Hello, how are you? And she said, I'm here. Here, are you there? I'm here. I said, where are you exactly? I said, we had all this the other day. Where are you? Can you tell me where you are? What's your name? And she just said, here. That's all she said, here. I thought, this is ridiculous. I did have a chat to a couple of other people this time while I was up there. There was no one else in the car park, no other cars. It was just me up there. I had a chat briefly to a couple of other people. But even when I was talking to them, she was saying, are you there? And I'm here, and things like that. Anyway, I eventually thought, I'm not doing this again. She's balmy. I wonder whether it was one of my friends, perhaps got his girlfriend or something, or wife or whatever, to go on the radio and muck about, knowing I was up there. I hadn't had any reason to think of ghosts or supernatural goings on or anything like that. I hadn't thought of that at all. It didn't even occur to me. I just thought it was some silly girl on the radio mucking about or having a laugh or whatever, or just confused. Third time I went up there was totally different. The same thing happened. But this time, I don't know why, I just felt, what it was, she said, I'm here, are you there, and all this. And then she said, see me. So I said, see you where? I thought she wanted me to meet her somewhere. It was at that point, I don't know why, I just felt a little bit, I don't like this. I can't explain why, I just didn't like it. There was something strange about it. So I said, okay, where are you? Where do you want to meet? I'll drive there and I'll meet you. And she just said, see me. And I just, okay, yeah, see you, yeah, I'll see you whenever. And she just said again, see me. And I just thought, I've had enough of this. I was parked, I started the engine, put the headlights on, I reversed. And as I turned round like this, the entrance and exit was over there, went like that, my headlamps shone in the trees as I was turning round. And I was just looking into the trees, and I stamped on the brake and stopped. About 50 feet into the trees, there was someone in there. About 50 feet away in my headlamps. I could just make out someone in there. And she said, see me, on the radio. Of course, then my hairs were standing up the back of my neck, and I really was, I was scared. I didn't like that at all. That was horrible. I just looked, and it was a girl. I didn't hang about. I put my foot down, screech of tyres, and I was off out of the car park, all the way down the lane, back to the town, civilization. I didn't like it up there at all. If you said describe her, I would say just looking at a ghost in a movie. You imagine a ghostly woman or girl in a movie in the woods, and she'd have like long hair, a long white night dress type thing on, that sort of ghost image that you see on the telly. That's exactly what it was like. She looked like she's got a night dress on. As I say, about 50 feet into the woods, I could see through the trees in my headlights. I didn't know what to think. I just didn't like it. I just went home. I was awake half that night, just picturing this girl in the woods. I thought various things, as she sort of sleepwalking, as she come out of a house somewhere, because there were some houses down the lane further. But I thought, well, she's not sleepwalking in the woods. And anyway, that was that. I sort of tried to forget about it until the next weekend. I had this sort of girlfriend. I say sort of because, well, that's another story. I won't go into that now. So I had this sort of girlfriend. We were going to go out for a drink, at the weekend, so I picked her up, and she saw the CB. She said, "Have you spoken to anyone on it yet?" She took a mild interest. So I said, "Actually, what we'll do before we go to the pub, we'll just go up the top of the hill, and I'll see if anyone's around." She liked the idea of the CB, because don't forget, there were no mobile phones, no internet, no computer. This was to her a new form of communication. All she had at home was a sort of parent's telephone. So yeah, we drove up the hill, and I felt, silly thing to say, I felt a lot more secure because she was there. I don't know what she could have done, had this person come out of the woods or whatever. But anyway, we drove up there, and I parked so we could overlook in the town and the sea. And it was night time again. It was sort of darkish, and I called on the CB, see if anyone was about, anyone there, anyone around. And "I'm here," this voice again. I just add here that I tried this various other places, like other car parks. There was another place up the downs further away. This only happened here in this one car park. Didn't happen anywhere else. Didn't happen at home, anywhere else in the town. Just this one spot, which I began to, after seeing the person in the woods, I began to think along the lines of ghosts. I was telling myself, well, this is daft, but I suppose that was the only explanation I could come up with. Daft one though it was, what else could it be? Anyway, there we are. We're up the downs, and I'm on the microphone, and this, "Are you there?" "Yes, I'm here." We got all this going on again, and my girlfriend, she said, "Have you spoken to her before?" I said, "Yes, each time I've come up here." I sort of briefly said, I think she's a bit balmy. I don't know where she is. She won't even say what her name is or anything. And she said, "Well, let me talk to her." So she grabbed the microphone. She said, "Hello, are you there?" This is my girlfriend. And this girl said, "Yes, I'm here." She actually said, "Yes, I'm here" this time. Like 3 words more than the usual 1 or 2. "I'm here," or just "here." So my girlfriend said, "What's your name?" And this person said, "Angela." Now the radio was, the signal from this person was sort of weak and crackly and that, but you could make out what she was saying. So my girlfriend said, "Where are you?" And of course then she said, "Here." So then she said, "Yeah, well, okay, where? Can we meet you? Whereabouts are you? Where are you now?" Sort of physically. I remember her saying physically, because that stuck in my mind. So I thought, physically, I don't think she is physical. And anyway, the girl just said then, she said, "See me." I turned round to have a look into the woods, but of course it was dark. I couldn't see. I was facing the wrong way to put my headlights on. So my girlfriend's trying to get information out of her. This Angela wasn't really saying much apart from "see me." So I said, "Look, let's go." It was getting late. I said, "Let's go. The pub will be closed at this rate." And she said, "Okay, yeah." She just said goodbye to this Angela, and all the girl said was "see me." So I backed up, did the same thing, drove round. This time, as the headlights are going through the woods, I stopped and just made out I was mucking around with the CB or something. And my girlfriend said, "Who's that in the woods?" And I looked, and there she was, again about 50 feet in, quite clear, or in the headlights at night, and 50 feet away, but still quite clear. There she was. So I hadn't said anything about seeing people in the woods. I hadn't told anyone that. So I said, I can see, yeah. And she said, "Who is it?" And I don't know, probably someone walking a dog. I tried to make light of it. Someone walking a dog or whatever. And she said, "Well, I don't walk dogs in the woods at night in the dark." I said, "I don't know, perhaps she's with her boyfriend, perhaps they're mucking around in the woods." She said, "What, in the pitch dark?" And she said, "Anyway, she's got her nightdress on." And I just didn't like it at all. I was petrified, to be honest. So I said, "Right, let's go to the pub. I'm not hanging around here. Let's go." And we went. I drove off, screech of tyres again, drove off, and we went to the pub. Of course, all the conversation was this girl in the woods. I didn't sort of relate to the CB and the girl. I didn't put 2 and 2 together in the conversation. And my girlfriend didn't. until right at the end of the evening when we were going. She said, "You know the girl on the CB?" And I, "Yes." She said, "That was the girl in the woods." I didn't really want to start talking about ghosts and all that sort of supernatural stuff. And I said, no. I said, she didn't have a radio. How can she be on the CB when she's in the woods? And she said, because she's a ghost. And I just stared at her. I said, "A ghost?" And she said, you know that, don't you?" And I thought for a little while. I said, "Yes, yeah, I do." I said, "You're right, she's a ghost." And then we both just sort of sat there looking at each other, and I remember the bell going, "Haven't you got homes to go to and all this?" "Yeah, we got homes to go to." And we left. I dropped her at home, and that was that. Yeah, it was, I didn't know what to think. I knew she was right. I knew I was right. It was a ghost, for want of a better word. Anyway, the days went by, and my girlfriend sort of rang me, "Let's go up there again." I said, "No, I'm not going up there. I'll go down the pub. If you want a drink, I'll go down the pub with you, but I'm not going up there." And she said, okay. So I picked her up. We're going to the pub. As soon as I picked her up, she said, "Right, up the car park." I said, "No, we're going to the pub." No, go to the car park. And I said, "No, I'm only coming out, if I'm only going out with you to the pub for a drink." Anyway, we ended up at the car park, didn't we? In the dark. Yeah, she was a strong-willed little character. Anyway, also I had to park facing the trees, so we could put the headlights on and look into the woods. Before I had a chance to pick up the microphone, she'd grabbed it, and she's on the radio saying, "Angela, can you hear me? Hello, Angela, are you there?" And all this. And I did like this. I'm not doing this. I want to go. And I was saying, "No, leave it. Let's go to the pub." And she put the microphone down, got out of the car, and went and stood looking into the woods. And on the radio, there's this, "Angela, see me." And I didn't have the headlights on. She's shouting, "But put lights on, lights." I put the lights on. I could see the back of her standing there. I couldn't see past her into the woods. Well, I could be either side, but I couldn't actually see whether the girl was there or not. I'm sitting in the car. I can't just drive off. I can't leave her in the woods with a ghost. The car doors, the passenger doors open. And I just didn't know what to do. I called. I said, come back. I'm going now. Come back." And I started the engine, and she still didn't come back. She's just staring into the woods. I couldn't see. She was in the way. I couldn't see whether the girl was there or not. Anyway, I sat there. I don't know. It seemed like ages. It was probably only a few seconds. And suddenly, I felt very cold in the car. It was really cold. The passenger door was open, but it was a warm summer night, so I just felt really cold. And then again, the hairs on the neck, and I thought, this is it. Something is here. I don't like it. Something is here. And engine's running. I'm ready to go. I'm in first gear, foot on the clutch. I'm ready to go like this. As soon as she gets back in the car, which she didn't. And I'm waiting, and something held my hand here. I just felt a hand on mine like that on the steering wheel. And I thought, it's not my girlfriend. I'm looking at her. I looked beside me. There's nothing there. And that's when I realised that it was this Angela. Well, presumably it was Angela. I could feel that someone was in the car. Anyway, my girlfriend got back in, and immediately she said to me, "She's here." I said, "Don't you start. I know she's here." I said, "She's just touched my hand." I drove off. I really did drive off at speed. And she said, slow down, you're going to crash. And oh dear, it was a nightmare, and it seemed like a nightmare. And we eventually, we stopped at the end of the lane down the hill. And I was just shaking. She wasn't. She was calm. She was so calm. And eventually we went to the pub, and she was saying, "Oh, this is our first ghost." I said, "What do you mean our first ghost?" "Oh, the first and last." We got to the pub, and she's chatting. We'll go up there again. I never did. We kind of drifted apart. She did say, "Oh, I'll go on my own if you're not going. I'll get someone else to take me up there." She didn't have a car, couldn't drive. And we sort of drifted apart, and that was that. I say we drifted apart. I don't think I saw her again after that night. I assumed that she'd found someone else to take her up the hill, and she was only my sort of girlfriend anyway. It was a weird experience, the whole thing. Many years later, I bumped into her in town. We had a chat. Oh, how are you? Blah blah blah. And then she said, "Have you been back to the car park?" And I said, "No, I haven't." I said, "Did you go back?" And she said, "No, she hadn't been back." And we had a coffee downtown, because a lot to chat about. It had been many years since we'd seen each other. She said, "Should we go back to the car park?" And I said, "You must be mad. No, we're not." And she really did want to go back. And I said, "No, I was tempted. I was tempted, but I thought, no, let's just leave it. Whatever it is up there, let's leave it. Let sleeping dogs lie, as they say. Let Angela lie, whoever she is."
Thank you, Ray. We hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. This is one of those that you've got a non-believer that runs into a situation where maybe he becomes a believer or maybe not. But I think Ray spoke to a ghost on the CB radio. So again, good night from Mothman Radio.